Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank.
My natural tendency as an inventor is to recognize, hey, there's a problem here, which is very important. And you can teach yourself to do that. And I would, see somebody having trouble finding things in a purse, and eventually I just said, hey, there's got to be a way around this. And so I started thinking about a purse light.
Are you a serious inventor who makes no excuses, but who's tired of hard work with no results? Are you committed to do whatever it takes to get your invention into the market in a big way, but sometimes you feel overwhelmed, wondering who you can trust and what you should be doing, or if you're even on the right track? If so, you could be a good candidate to join my top-level executive training for inventors called Mastermind Consulting. Mastermind Consulting is a full 12 months of one-on-one engagement with me that includes monthly Zoom meetings, homework with unlimited emails, and follow-up. It's like having me on retainer for a full year to guide your actions to keep you on track to accomplish your goals. This program is not a fit for every inventor. You must apply and be accepted to join the program. Mastermind Consulting is working very well for my first client, Matt, and I have limited openings for only 2 additional clients for 2024. Once those slots are filled, there'll be no more availability until 2025. Here's what you can expect to gain if you're selected to join Mastermind Consulting. You'll come away with a step-by-step plan to make sure you've selected your strongest invention idea as your hero product, so you don't waste time or money on a product that can't succeed. You will learn exactly how to assess your product's strengths and weaknesses versus key competitor products, and you'll create a clear, concise 30-second pitch to make companies want to say yes to your product. Finally, you'll learn precisely how to create a curated list of companies to pitch your product to for licensing, and how to pitch to them the right way. So if you're tired of hard work and no results, and you're ready to make a commitment to yourself and to your invention, here's how to apply to work with me for a full year in Mastermind Consulting. Send me an email to alan@alanbeckley.com, and in the subject line put Mastermind Consulting. And I want you to answer in the email for me 3 questions. Question number 1, where are you in your invention journey right now? Just 2 or 3 sentences to tell me where you are. Question number 2, why your product really matters and why you're committed to it. Once again, 2 or 3 sentences. And then question number 3, it's a simple one. Why I should select you to join the program. Just send all of this to alan@alanbeckley.com and put in the subject line, Mastermind Consulting. I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to working closely with you to help you finally achieve your dreams. Welcome to episode number 416. Today, I interview Brad Little. Brad Little grew up in Streetsville, Ontario, a small suburban town near Toronto. He attended the University of Waterloo and obtained a degree in systems design engineering. During this time, he got married, and he and his family settled in the Toronto metro area. Brad developed an integrated understanding of design engineering, inventing, and patenting. He worked at 2 patent firms where he developed a clear understanding of key aspects of patent claims, construction, and prosecution. He's worked in various industries, helping to design products and serving as a go-between between the company and patent firms. he decided to become an invention consultant to industry and individual inventors. Today, he's actively working on two inventions of his own, with around 20 other ideas for possible future development. He's pursuing a new, improved purse light for women to light up their world, or at least their purses. Also, he's developed a novelty light that he feels is perfect for the promotional products industry. Brad says he likes helping other inventors and hates seeing them struggle to get traction on their inventions. He believes everything around us is here because somebody was creative enough and worked hard enough to figure it out and produce it. And we all owe the world our own effort to do the same. Brad's motto is, when in doubt, do something. You'll want to listen to this entire interview where Brad shares how he recognized that most current purse lights are poorly designed, lighting up just a small portion of the purse interior. Also, why inventors are unique in that they spot problems others miss and devise solutions others don't. And finally, how Brad believes that a problem is almost always an invention waiting to happen. Now let's get right to our interview with Brad Little. Well, Brad Little, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast with us today.
Hey, it's great to be here, Alan.
Brad, I'd like to ask you, can you share a bit of your background with our listeners? Where did you grow up and go to school? And what did you do before you became an inventor? Could you share that with us?
Certainly. I grew up in a small town just outside Toronto, Canada, called Streetsville. I was born actually in Niagara Falls and moved to Streetsville and then moved off a bit after that. And then I just a normal, regular childhood, and then went off to university. I was fortunate enough to go off to the University of Waterloo into the program I wanted called Systems Design Engineering. And that was great. Just so happy to be able to do that. And then I actually got married in university, then got out and we had kids, and life went on from there.
Thanks again for sharing that. And that sounds like an interesting upbringing. And it seems more and more with some of the folks that I have in the boot camp and otherwise, there's quite an entrepreneurial group around Toronto area and Ontario in general within Canada, from my perspective.
Yes, there absolutely is a very large entrepreneurial group in general. I know many inventors. There are inventors groups and clubs and so on, and it's been a pleasure meeting a lot of them.
Brad, you're right in the thick of designing a new, improved purse light for women. Can you briefly describe the aha moment that caused you to begin developing this product? And what was the key problem you were seeking to solve that would make it better than other purse lights?
I do not remember the absolute specific moment, but basically, I believe it was because my wife was having trouble finding things in her purse, and other women too. And I don't carry a purse, so I wasn't having that problem. But and just seeing somebody having a problem, my natural tendency as an inventor is to recognize, hey, there's a problem here, which is very important, and you can teach yourself to do that. And I would, see somebody having trouble finding things in a purse, and eventually I just said, "Hey, there's got to be a way around this." And so I started thinking about a purse light and what should it do. And I had some ideas. It's good to brainstorm at first, and then I did a bunch of searching around, including some patent searching, and realized that hey, there isn't really a really excellent purse light out there. Maybe I can design something better. So I started working on it, and I had some fundamental ideas on it, and just went from there, built some prototypes just out of parts from the local hardware store, etc. And then improved that and realized there were some problems with it and solved those problems. The biggest problem is, I think, making sure, couple problems, making sure that the purse is lit from what I call end to end and top to bottom, and also making the light very easily accessible so you can just reach in, touch it, and have it turn on. Also, so that it doesn't block a person's access to the purse. And that's very important. My wife made sure that I got that part of it straight.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And one of the things I want to just highlight for our listeners is you mentioned earlier on about you spotted a problem and you
Mhm.
started thinking there's got to be a better solution. One thing I want to highlight is I learned in college that inventors naturally think this way. Wow, this works like that. There's got to be a better way. And you tend to assume others think this way. And what I discovered is, I don't know, maybe 15% of the population or less really thinks that way. Because I've told the story before on the podcast, but I'll make the short version. But when I was in college back in the 70s, the blow dryers for the guys and their longish hair was quite the thing at the time, right? Everybody had to have their blow dryers and this and that. And relatively speaking, they were expensive in those days, dollars. They were like $30, which
Mm.
probably like $100 today. But I came into my dorm room one afternoon and I looked in the trash and there was my roommate's blow dryer. And I thought, geez, that's strange. And so when he came in, I said, What's your blow dryer doing in the trash?" And he goes, "It's broken." And I said, "Didn't you try to fix it?" And he looked at me like, "What?" He says, "No, it's broken." And that's when it clicked in my mind. Oh, I think differently than he does. The engineering mindset, the inventor mindset is, hey, if the thing's broken, maybe it's a short. If it's not working anyways, let me see if I can take it apart. I'll learn something about it. And it may be something simple to fix. But I realize a lot of people don't see things that way. Just either works or it doesn't. It is the way it is.
Yes, you're very right. As so many people put up with just equipment or whatever devices, anything that's the way they are, and they accept them because the problem isn't severe enough to move them into action, and maybe they're not highly creative, and so it doesn't hit them. Hey, there's a better way, but there's always can maybe qualified a little bit, but always a better way to do things. And when the car was first developed, people would look and go, "Nah, can't improve on that. That's just amazing." Look at what happened to improvements every year to vehicles. And so things can always be improved. You just have to recognize when something is maybe isn't the best, or even if you don't recognize that, try to be creative. There's no wrong answer. That gets filtered out a bit later. And don't be afraid to invent. Just try and just keep going.
It makes so much sense. Brad, I'd like to ask, can you briefly describe, from a high level anyways, what are the key benefits of your purse light that would make a woman say, that's the light that I want in my purse? And also, looking at the market in general, what are some of the limitations that you see in current purse lights on the market? Can you share that with us?
Sure, I'd be glad to. The main thing, or I guess a few main things about my purse light is that it does light up as much of the purse as reasonably possible, and not just one little part or at the top or whatever. And a purse generally has quite a few things in it. So just putting a light at the top may make it a bit difficult for the light to get into each every corner of the purse, shall we say. And so that's very important. And it also has to be readily accessible so that you just like open the purse and hey, turn it on very easily without having to search for it or have it covered up by anything. Also, it has to be lightweight. Purses are usually fairly heavy anyway, and I've certainly been told the last thing that a person wants is to have more weight in a purse. No, that's I think that's most of it. In terms of other purse lights, there are actually a few dozen patents in the U.S. Patent Office to purse lights, and most of them are just single LED lights that just clip on somewhere, so they don't necessarily present themselves at the top of the purse to make it easy. They could easily get blocked because they're a single source of light, easily get blocked and not light up the whole purse. Well, they are lightweight. That's great, but it just don't quite do the job. This does the job much more effectively.
Thanks again for sharing that with us. And just to highlight, you were saying a key thing you focused on is you really want a purse light that lights up most of the purse. It'd be much more beneficial to women. And you saw a fair number out there that were, I won't say dim, but maybe just a single light. And it wouldn't really do a good job of lighting up most of the purse, maybe a little bit of it. And then ready access, which I think certainly has got to be very important. to a woman. She certainly doesn't want to be searching for it or how to turn it on. And you make an excellent point. I've heard a variety of women say, and that is they're very cognizant of adding weight to their purse because, as you just described, purses already tend to weigh quite a bit with the different things they carry. They're not excited about taking on yet another accessory that will make the purse that much heavier. I like that you brought those 3 points up as key elements that you were looking at.
Thank you. Yeah. And actually, I just thought of something else that is important to me. And it was a key factor in deciding on the design. When a person looks into a purse, especially at night, maybe you're in a theater or something and you have to get something in your purse, maybe some tissues or whatever, you don't want to stare into the purse and be blinded. So my purse light keeps the lights hidden from direct view by a user who is looking in at the top of a purse.
Yeah, such an excellent point. Little curiosity question or a different perspective. Some of our male listeners may be scratching their heads wondering why a purse light is even needed. Can't a woman generally find what she needs in her purse without a light? Can you make your business case for why an effective purse light is something that every woman will want?
I believe so, and I think the only thing I can say to that, and a couple things maybe, is any woman I've asked who is carrying a purse, and they most all do, says, "Yeah, I would love a purse light. I can never find anything here, anything in my purse in the dark." There isn't any hesitation on their part whatsoever about having trouble finding stuff, even in daylight. Sometimes some purses are rather large, and they actually have black interiors, a lot of them, which doesn't reflect a lot of light. So it can be needed just in normal daylight as well. And everyone I've talked to so far absolutely wants a purse light. And I think it's very justifiable from that end.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another element that could be mentioned is really the security aspect. And that is a woman leaves a store or something and she's in the dark. And the first thing she wants to do is get her car keys because she wants to get her keys securely and get out of the car and get in her car. And being able to quickly locate the car keys, for example, or a cell phone is something I think that would be very reassuring from that perspective.
Absolutely, yes. Yes. And it could even make the car keys easy to find by, hey, maybe the car key is attached to the purse light.
Yeah. Brad, you're still very much in the product validation and development phase of your journey with this product. When do you envision it might become available on the market? And also, would you prefer to license it or to venture it, do it yourself? What is the method you wish to take it to the marketplace?
Excellent question. I'm currently taking your licensing course, and the intent is to get the purse light to market by licensing, hopefully within the next, oh, I'm going to say 9 months, because things never happen as quickly as you want them. Even it's tempting to think, oh, it can be in the market by Christmas, but I think that would be pretty difficult. And so maybe it can be in the market by next Mother's Day and then really ramp up for Christmas of 2025. I'm hoping that's a realistic goal. I'm looking at maybe 2 or 3 different levels of the purse light. Maybe I don't know what price it'll be, but let's say there's a $30 level, $100 level, and maybe $1,000 level, and maybe the $1,000 level one is made out of crystal, or I have no clue. But that's something that has to be decided by the licensee or by a manufacturer. I'm going to be manufacturing some small runs of them to test them out. It's very important that your invention is tested like the best prototype you can do, tested in an in-use environment. And I'll be doing a lot of that to make sure we have it as right as possible, even before going to a potential licensee, and make changes as necessary. But one of the things I would consider doing is licensing in general, and then maybe at the high end level, high price end, whatever, venturing it myself, because there would already be a manufacturer involved.
Key point I just wanted to hit on real quick is why it's very important to go the extra mile when it comes to validating your product. And part of that is that sometimes people forget when a product hits the market, let's say it goes to Amazon and maybe it goes to HSN or QVC, and it starts getting ratings, 1 to 5 star ratings. If there's a lot of product or a fair percentage of product being returned because the quality or other sorts of issues, it's going to hit those ratings hard. And in many cases, it can shorten the lifespan of the product. So you don't want to have your product quickly put out in the marketplace, not properly validated, and making pretty confident it's going to be a quality product. So you're not going to have a lot of returns. And I think sometimes inventors don't think of that aspect of it.
You are completely right. They don't think of that aspect. They get caught up in believing in their invention the way they thought of it, which is excellent. You have to, but you also should get outside objective validation by people using it, possibly by an experienced designer looking at it and saying, "Hey, why didn't you do it this way?" Or "Hey, that part's excellent." But absolutely using it. I'm sure there have been a lot of product failures, not just from individual inventors, but even from big companies where it just wasn't used fully and properly beforehand in order to, and long enough to find all the faults. And you'll never find all the faults. Nothing's ever perfect, but doing a best job you can so that things go fairly smoothly is very important.
As we roll towards a close, are there any parting words you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, I'm going to say that I have a saying, and it's a problem is an invention waiting to happen. And so for the listeners, look around over the next while and say, hey, that isn't right, or that isn't really good. It's average, but it could be better. Look for problems and then start thinking, hey, what's the solution? And there's no wrong answer. You may think of a good solution, you may not. And one way to think of a solution, an invention, is to take something such as, let's just think of a simple chair. Way back when, for many centuries, chairs were just made of wood or whatever, and they were a fixed height and so on. And let's say you wanted to improve that chair. You can make a list of all its attributes, saying it's this high, it's this wide, it's solid, it doesn't roll around, like it's just fixed in place. It's hard, it doesn't have a cushion, it tips over a little bit if you lean back too far, and just as many as you want attribute. And then what you do is you negate or change all those attributes. And somewhere along the line, there's a good chance you'll find something that's worth doing in terms of an invention. And that's, maybe how the five-legged chair, which is more stable, how it got developed by somebody looking at, hey, that's a problem. And hey, it has 4 legs. Let's do 5. Oh, why would you do that? Oh, you're right. That's a good idea. So I encourage everybody to do things like that, to find problems and just generate solutions and see what happens.
I agree. I think that's an excellent starting point. I really like that expression that a problem is an invention waiting to happen. So I think that's excellent.
Thank you.
My last question is, how can our listeners reach you if they have other questions?
Yeah, absolutely. My email is Brad, at invention, invention, synergy, synergy, and that's all one word, .com.
Fantastic. That's really helpful. I usually repeat it, but you spelled it out so clearly and concisely. I don't see any point in repeating it. Now they know where they can get in touch with you. And Brad, I just want to thank you for being on the podcast with us today, and would like to reserve the opportunity, maybe another 6 months or a year, to check in with you again and see what you've got going on at that time. And hopefully your Purse Slide is in the market and you're working on the next one.
I hope so too. Thank you very much. And I will certainly be working on the next one by then, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, once again, thanks for being on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you, Alan.
You bet. So you're done searching for your product and it's not out there. Yay! Maybe you filed for a provisional patent and done some marketing research or surveys. Heck, maybe you've even created a rough prototype, then found that, although it kind of works, it looks like something from the Stone Age. You'd be embarrassed to show it to your friends, much less to a manufacturer for a licensing pitch. What if I could put you in touch with a guy who offers free consultations, takes no money down, no money up front, and will give you a quote on your project before he starts? What if I told you that this same guy can help you design your product and make you a virtual prototype before you ever put a penny into building a physical one? What if I told you he could make you patent drawings, CAD files for manufacturing, and even make marketing videos and build you a website? If this sounds like someone you want to talk to, let me introduce you to my first podcast sponsor, Brian Keast at I Draw Dreams for Inventors. With 3.5 years of trade school and 15 years of mechanical experience working as a mechanic for General Motors, you have someone that's seen countless design failures and how they were fixed. Also, he had a 25-year career as a general contractor who designed his own houses and remodels on computer-aided design. In getting plans through countless building departments, he gained a tremendous amount of experience by working directly with structural engineers. The many years of combined experience in these two careers gave him a unique look into stresses and failures in design. He brings this wealth of knowledge and experience to his company, I Draw Dreams, as the CAD guy who will design a product for you that will work. Every inventor I've referred to Brian has come away delighted with the work he has done for them, and I think you will too. Just make sure to tell them that Alan sent you. As an inventor, do you ever feel lonely? Because no one seems to understand what you are doing or why. What if there was a community of other inventors just like you that you could meet, share with, and learn from every month? What if every month you had a front row seat to learn how to license, research companies, and sharpen your marketing message from successful inventors like Marcy McKenna, Lisa Lloyd, Aaron Krause, and many others? Guess what? The Inventors Helping Inventors membership group, or IHIMG, gives you all of that and more for only $35 a month. Less than a few lattes at Starbucks. Just go to alanbeckley.com/IHI35 for all the details and to join us now. From the moment you join, you'll get instant access to over 40 recorded videos in the IHIMG Video Vault, where you'll learn how Jim DeBetta ventures products successfully in a challenging retail market, about Lisa Lloyd's secret research resources to determine which products to pursue and which to leave behind, how Serena Oliver was able to craft 3 successful Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns, how Bop It inventor Dan Klitzner launched over 50 successful products in the uber-challenging toy business, and more. By the way, all of those videos are just from 2022. There's lots more from 2021 and 2023 in the Video Vault for members. To join us now in the Inventors Helping Inventors membership group, just go to alanbeckley.com/IHI35. I look forward to meeting you and helping you to accelerate your journey and gain traction as an inventor. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.